Man, welcome back. Episode 207, season two. It's your man again. It's the one and only Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. Appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. We're going to get into a little WNBA, a little NBA, a little college, a little World Series, a little bit of everything that's going on. So I'm excited, absolutely excited to talk about this stuff. But before we do, Val, you know what to do. Drop.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the
Pull Up Podcast. You know, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. The show. I love that track. Love that track. Thank you. Hey, make sure you do a few things for me as we get started tonight. Make sure, one, you like the show. Two, make sure you share with your friends and tell them to share with other people. Three, make sure you subscribe. And four, continue watching. Tonight's show, we're going to jump in, and I need a lot of audience participation. Some of the guys that's out there tonight, we're going to be talking about the WNBA. We're going to talk about whether it was a great series. We're going to talk about the fouls that were called. We're going to talk about everything, and more importantly, the New York Liberty delivered a championship to the Big Apple, something that the Knicks had done in 51 years. Yeah, 51. But before we get into everything and the gist of it, my sidekick, my roadie, who comes out on Tuesday nights with me on Interludes Talk on Tuesday, Val the Voice. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Coach.
Man, what's going on, Val the Voice?
Yay! Ever so often, I show up here, and of course, I had a lot of homework today.
Oh, well, exactly. You got when you mess with me in this corner, you got to get your study on.
Exactly. So I definitely made sure that I did as much homework as possible for the show but this was easy homework to do, Coach. I am extremely ecstatic. They won in the house that was built initially for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
But I'm grateful that down the street from where I used to live at the Barclays Center, we have some world champions that would be the New York Liberty. Yay!
Yeah. She out there, she out standing out and holding up the torch like, boom, what? I mean, and here's the cool part about it, Val, is the women that brought it home for the woman, right? They brought it home for Lady Statue of Liberty. They brought it home, and they lit the torch up. I mean, just think about it. Go back to your time just down the street from the Barclays when it was just a hope and a dream, right? People were like, okay, the Barclays being built, the Jersey Nets is being about to move over here. Which is the first team? And everybody's arguing about, is it going to be the New Jersey Nets or the Brooklyn Nets now? Or is it going to be the New York Knicks? And what happened? Right under the radar, they didn't even know. This little bitty, itty bitty team of women are just slowly making their move and making their way up the lap.
Yeah, and here's the great thing about it is that the New York Liberty is one of the teams that's been around since the entirety of the NBA, the WNBA has been around. And so they've been to the finals before, but this is their first championship ever. They played a phenomenal game against the Minnesota Lynx. They are 5-time champions with the WNBA. But Coach, I'm telling you, this women right here, you looking at?
Those women right there, we're going to talk about it. But what we're going to do, we're going to rewind the history. We're going to get everybody up to par. So let's rewind the tape. Let's go back to 1970, 69, 70, and the 71 season. the New York Knicks, for those that don't know. And I have a lot of my older heads, as I call them, old school guys listening to the podcast all the time. The old New York Knicks, Val, the 5 guys on that team, like the 5 women on this team this year, that comprised of making sure that that was a dynasty, was none other than Coach Rod Holzman. And that year, the New York Knicks, they won 60-22. It was led off by none other than the Senator, Bill Bradley. Bill Bradley, who was a U.S. Senator, was the man on that particular team. And these guys right there, this is back to the time, Val, that they would put them elbows on you, throw you on the floor, throw you down. It was okay. Followed by Dick Bennett. I've been to a lot of Dick Bennett camps over the years as a coach, Val, and he was a member of these 69-70 New York Knicks. Also, the guy right there with the big hair to the right, Dave DeBusschere. He was the Bill Laimbeer, if you guys don't know, of the New York Knicks. He would clothesline you, tackle you, whatever it took to get a foul and get you upset and get you off your game. And then you had the 2 people, what I call just the superstars. Willis Reed, which is the man, Cassie Russell's Chicago's own Cassie Russell, and the man of the hour before Michael Jordan was none other than Walt Frazier. And Walt was at the game last night, Val, and he still dressed like it's 1974. He still come with his fly collars, his bell-bottom pants, with the hat tilted to the side, like Curtis Mayfield walking through the club. My man, Walt Frazier. But these were the original New York Knickerbockers back in the day before they dropped the buck and just became the Knicks.
Yeah, and this was amazing. They had a couple of close, I think they were in the playoffs leading up to, now this was 1973 when they finally won. Is that correct?
1969, 1970 when they won at that time. 77, 73, 72, 73 is when they won it. And they beat the Lakers 4-3. And that Lakers had our guy on it, Pat Riley, who you and I just talked about the other day, and Jerry West on that team. So we're talking about way back, the logo of the NBA basketball was on that particular team at the time.
Wow. And how long did Pat Riley play for the New York Knicks?
No, Pat Riley was a Los Angeles Laker.
Oh, he was a Laker. That's what I think. So how long did he play for Los Angeles?
So he played with the Lakers right at 10 years, from the late 60s, right before Magic Johnson got on team. He played, I want to say like 64, 65, all the way to like 76, 77. And then Magic came in right after that. And then, of course, Pat worked his way up from his bootstraps to be who he is today. And now we know last week they dedicated the Miami Heat's court to none other than Pat Riley.
Oh,
but that Willis Reed is to the right there, and Cassie Russell to the left, and Walt's right in the middle, the Busher. That's a great photo of them, them New Year. That's a great photo. Those 5 guys, and for those that know old school basketball, they don't even remember Willis Reed, who was to the right. They don't even remember him in his infamous game, not with the Knicks, Val, but with the Washington Bullets. He got hurt, had a knee injury, because they wearing them old school 1960, 70 Converse, them canvas Converse. And he got hurt, won out the game, got taped up at halftime, came back and finished with the Washington Bullets. That's what you call a warrior.
Wow. And here's the thing. I think one of the things that I was thinking about is, how was the rivalries back there in the 70s? Like, what were the teams that had, was any dynasties around at that time in the late 60s, early 70s? Any dynasties?
Well, you got one dynasty that was around that still holds the record today, and I don't think nobody ever beat it, and that's the Boston Celtics. Red Auerbach was the coach, 1960. Bill Russell was the guard. It was the post player on that particular team. And Red Auerbach was coming to the stadium smoking a cigar. Sonny Henson was on that doggone team. I mean, you had a lot of guys. Sam Cooke was on that team. You had a lot of guys And Boston reeled off 11 victories during that time period of early 60s to the early 70s before the Knicks won, and then the Lakers started to take it over. And to this very day, the Lakers has got rings, the Bulls has got rings, Golden State Warriors got rings, but nobody has rings like the Boston Celtics. They still
Okay.
hold the most of all.
I think this is Pat Riley from when he was playing with the Lakers.
Old school Pat Riley right there. For those that don't know, if you haven't watched the movie that came on Netflix called The Lakers Dynasty, let me tell you something. Great series. Talks a little bit about Jerry Buss and what he did during the time, a little bit behind the scenes with Pat Riley, how he got the job, talks about the logo and Jerry West, and then none other than Magic himself and Bird at that time. Great, great, great series, and it was fun. And that's my boy right there. Walt, kill him back in the day. Kill him. Put him up. You know, and I'm talking about Walt was flashy, Val. He was flashy before flashy was flashy. And that's my man right there. Phil, before he jumped to the Bulls.
Right. And it when I was doing this research, it was weird seeing this very young version. The only version of Phil that I know about is him being a coach to Michael Jordan. This was when they won 2 of the championships back in the early 90s. But of course, just kind of that juxtaposition of it, you know, you had Phil Jackson as a player, a part of the 1973 winning Knicks, which was 51 years ago, and now current. Now we have the New York Liberty. So it took a woman to do the job of bringing a championship to New
Big
York.
Apple. Right. So I can imagine this New Year's Eve Apple and New Year's Eve ball drop. What would be dope? What would be so dope? And I'm about to probably patent this and call Dinkins and see if we can do it. Drop the ball this year, and when it explodes with the New York Liberty sign.
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
That would definitely be dope. But like I said, I think what I was hearing from a lot of the presentations from, you know, when it aired on ESPN, I watched the game on Friday, and Minnesota beat New York, and it was kind of that, you know, we gotta win or we gonna go home. So I saw Minnesota fight. They fought very, very hard, and here's the thing: they got 5 rings. So of course they want another one, and their coach is someone who brought a gold medal to
the Olympics.
To the Olympics. And like I said, this is really tough. But I had a question, and I think I asked you about this earlier. I want to make sure the coach's name for Minnesota. I'm trying to get her name real quick.
Reeves. Her name is Coach Reeves.
Okay, so Coach Reeves. So what had happened? I heard, and then of course it's been coming out right after they interviewed and talked with Coach Reed, and then one other player didn't say anything, but she said that she felt like the series or the game 5 was stolen from her and the Minnesota Lynx. She criticized the officiating. She says officiating is not that hard, according to The Athletic. This is a New York Times article. And she said that the Lynx was primary focused on one call near the end of regulation with Alana Smith. And she was whistled for a foul on Stewart with 5 seconds remaining on, and they said it was kind of a marginal contact. But here's my question to you as a coach. Officiating, does that make the difference between a game win or one that just kind of slips through your fingers when you're coaching? Just curious.
I done reached out, Val, to a couple of my homeboys. I'm trying to get an official up on this podcast with me so we can talk about this, because I don't know a coach, including myself, and I've got a couple of championships underneath me, that the referees doesn't call a game the way we want, right? That's just the nature of the business. That's just how it is. Even when you came to see me in summer AAU, you know, the referee's never going to call the game the way you see it as a coach. What you hope to see and I concur with Coach Reeves wholeheartedly, and that is once you get down under 15, 20 seconds, in a coach's perspective, the referee's got to swallow that whistle, meaning let the kids, let the players decide the game. Unless it's a blatant foul, you get it. So let's rewind that particular play. I remember it like I just cut my hair, right? So you got Breonna Stewart, who just missed 2 free throws prior to. She doesn't do that all the time. And then she comes back and get this foul. But we're going to go in more detail. We're going to take a quick break through this first quarter, and I'm going to break it down and let it be broke, how everything came about. We're going to take a quick, pay some bills, because Val's got to keep the show running. We'll be right back with Coach Tony and Val the Voice on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the KeySpot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
All right.
Welcome back. Season 2 of the Pull Up Podcast Show with Coach Tony. And we're heading into the second quarter here. We had a question on the table, and Val was talking to me about the perspective of a coach on the sideline doing one heated game, possibly a championship game, or just a contest or a game that's really, really close. And the coaches feel the referee takes it away. The perspective on that, Val, is, again, as I was mentioning as we were going to commercial break, the referees, they do a great job controlling the game, controlling the narrative, making sure the players are doing everything they've got to do. But as a coach, you really want those refs to swallow that whistle when the clock gets under 20 seconds, 15 seconds. Let those players decide their game. Unless I hit you upside the head, unless I do everything I got to do, let the players decide the game. Now, here it is, Elena Smith, as you can say, hands up on Breonna Stewart. Now, let's replay this play for those that did or didn't see the game. You got the ball being taken out on the north end of the court. Breonna Stewart's coming in on the south end of the court. She comes off of a flare screen. She grabs the basketball, Val, and when she grabbed the ball, she wasn't able to capture the ball being thrown to her, so she hopped and she traveled. No call. So Coach Reed goes crazy because that was a travel. And then she takes a one dribble into the lane, pull up on a solid jump shot, and as you can see, Elena Smith defends that shot. Now, she didn't touch her elbow, nor did she touch the ball. But the referee said it was incidental contact upon receiving the pass. Let me break that down. What the ref is saying is that when Breonna Stewart caught the pass, the incidental contact was the bumping from Elena Smith as Breonna Stewart caught the pass, which then when she went into her shot motion, she was able to get the shot off with no foul because the bumping was prior to the foul. So therefore, they waved it off, gave New York the ball back, and now you got Breonna Stewart at the free throw line shooting 2 free throws when she just missed a pair of 2. And of course, being the veteran that she is, a Gino Auriemma girl from UConn, she's not going to miss 2 times in a row, sinks them both, and we go in the overtime.
Wow. Yeah. And I think I kind of understand what happened. And let me see if I can, someone actually shared it on Twitter, because I'm sitting here trying to figure it out, but let me go ahead and stop.
Man, you got that play to put that play back up. That'd be awesome. I mean, if you guys are listening out there tonight, if you got questions or comment about the game last night, if you saw the game, man, let me hear from you.
Yeah, so I'm scanning right now.
While I was doing that, let me break down the teams and go to show you the significance of the Liberty winning. In 1997, our prior guest, Coach Vigilon, hopefully you out here tonight with me. What's up? 2 pumps up for you. She was just on air with us, the former assistant coach with the LA Sparks. She runs the Sacramento Basketball Skills Academy. So if you're in the Sacramento area, Golden State area, you must get in touch with Coach Vigilon and get your game right. You're going to be playing this ball. But in 1997, when the league formed, Val, there were 8 teams. Those teams were Charlotte. Those teams were Cleveland. Those teams were Houston. Those teams were our beloved New York Liberty. Those were the Los Angeles Sparks, Sacramento, which our guest, Coach Vigilon, went to, and Utah. And of those original teams, the only team from the original launch that hadn't won a ring was the New York Liberty. And I love Minnesota to death, but you're down the stretch, and I get it, Coach Reeves. I'm with you all the way. The referee should have let that play. I jumped out of my seat, Val. That's how mad I was.
And like I said, this is something I can't bring it up right now because I'm looking at it, but I can't bring it up. But a lot of people called it and said that she was traveling, and when the reps didn't call this, and this was in overtime, right at the very end of overtime. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I don't understand it, but here's the thing. I feel like
the foul. You talking about the foul you're talking about?
The foul, right.
That happened in regulation. That sent the game into overtime because she hit the free throws. Without that foul, Minnesota wins the game. Because what Coach Reeves is saying, if you play that back 2 minutes prior, then you get a breakaway foul for Nafisha Collier that was called a foul, but the ball was given on the sideline as opposed to free throw. Then you had a beautiful move from Nafisha Collier. She pump faked Jonquil Jones, went around her, and then was hitting the head, and no foul was called. They gave Jonquil Jones a block shot from behind that no foul was called. So in 2 back-to-back plays, Coach Reeves there was no foul.
Let's play about 4 months in the summertime. About 4 months they play. So it's a tough thing. And here's the thing. I'm that Friday game, you just saw Minnesota really, really fighting. I just saw them literally fighting for number one, to make sure that they won, but make sure that they pushed it. Because if they had lost, they would have lost in Minnesota. But I think it makes a difference when you win in your hometown. It's just something about that excitement. And so I think with the New York Liberty winning there in New York, I brought some kind of excitement and some energy to it. But I don't know.
I think it is. And what's up, K Springer, baby? You was on the phone with me last night, super duper late. I know you pumped up to like where I was when I was in Chicago with them Bulls. Val only talked about 2 rings, but I got 6. I don't know what Val got. I got 6. But and Springer, maybe you know, or maybe you don't know. You might well go ahead and start coughing tonight. And tomorrow, get a fever, and on Wednesday, start sweating. You got to go get medicine. Because on Thursday, the parade is coming. Yeah, Val, they're going to have a parade for these New York Liberties in the city on Thursday. So be ready, because they're going to be ready. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Right. Courtney Vandersloot. Now, she was here in Chicago. Is that right? She won a championship
in Chicago. She won with Candace Parker and the crew. Yes.
Right. So this is amazing. She had a tough year because unfortunately she lost her mom earlier in the season to cancer. Yep. And they did a wonderful, beautiful tribute to her mom because her mom used to play, Jan Vandersloot. So when she was able to play, she took some time away earlier in the summer in their season. But, you know, major kudos. I don't know if I would have had the strength to continuously play at this level when losing your parent. So
some of these girls are just strict professionals, Val. And, you know, and sometimes, you know, That's what I talk about, the heartbeat of an athlete, right? Not the heart, but the heartbeat. You can have a
Hmm.
heart, but you got to have that heartbeat. Sometimes the heartbeat of the athlete, those are the things that light their fire. Those are things that make them go. Those are the, hey, what WWD, my mom would do. Right? What will my mom do? And she would want me to continue to play. And when you're an athlete and a superstar like that, it happens. But let me tell you something. This game, for those guys that are looking at this game, you had some of the 5 best athletes on the floor at the same time. Listen to this hype. And this is why Minnesota couldn't go. Minnesota had Courtney Williams. I love her to death. She's a beast with the ball in her hand. Obviously,
Hmm.
Fisher Collier and Fee, she is like the second run-up to Asia Wilson for MVP of the league, right? And then, of course, we got Leona, not Leona, but Courtney Williams, and it's one more young lady. I lost my train of thought.
Hmm.
But anyway, you got these young ladies that are fighting, but they're not as big. Then you have the Liberty who put on the floor right down the stretch, which they haven't seen. And Phoebus 6'1", you got Jonquil 6'7", you got Brianna Stewart is 6'4", you got 6'5", 6'1". So you got 6'1", 6'2", 6'4", 6'5", 6'7" on a women's basketball team on the floor in a WNBA game. That is hard to match up, and every single person can play.
Everyone, and here's the thing: the the MVP. I want to talk about the MVP of the series.
Jonquil
Um,
Jones, yes.
yes,
Oh,
Bohemian.
good.
You heard a little bit of her story when they were presenting it, and she looked like she was shocked when they presented her the award for.
Oh, she was, because everybody thought that Brianna Stewart was going to get it. Come on now, Val.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So when she came here from another country, um, wanting to play, practicing, doing all that you do to do this, and she's the one who is 6'6". She's a center. Is that correct?
That is correct. She's 6'7", 6'6" and a half, 6'7".
6'7". Okay. But some of the moves she did in both games 4 and 5 really made the determining factor. Like she was so many blocks, assists, and definitely I'm sitting here going, I cannot believe a woman is this tall. But even with in the interview that she did this morning with Robin Roberts of Good Morning America, Robin Roberts was one of the folks that was in the audience. It was like the who's who
Yes.
in the audience. But
Oh,
she just said that she was extremely humbled by all of the support she's received up to this moment, and it's something she feels like how it happened, and leading up to this championship was just pitch perfect. Those were her words on Good Morning America to this morning. But just really am proud of the entire team, and like I said, it's a fight. Minnesota did an excellent job. Coach Reeves, she coached some of those girls to a gold this summer.
sure.
So
Yeah, but the hard part about it, Val, you got to think about it. Those young women that are over there, Nafisha Collier and Phoebus and all them, they're saying, no, that ain't my ring. Courtney Williams is saying, I don't have a ring. That's Maya Moore's ring, right? That's her
mhm.
crew, right? That's Maya Moore was a beast. They pimped the league for a while. That's their ring, but I don't have one. So every year, Val, that I get my basketball team, if the team in front of me or in front of the new team do something well, I say, hey, don't party off their back. That's their ring. That's their championship. Make a name for yourself. And this is why coaches like Gino Ariano at UConn is so tough. The legendary Pat Summer before she passed away at Tennessee. Vivian Stringer, who we named the breast cancer game after, that's doing some big things. This is why coaches like that are the old school coaches, because they breathe that type of stuff in players. And these players grow up and they believe that, Val. And if you're going to take it from them, you're not going to get a ring. You have to take this ring. And that's what New York did. I know that Coach Reeves talks about the refs, but New York was down 16, 17 points. This was the first WNBA finals, by the way, Val, I don't know if you know this, that went 5 games, that there was 2 overtime games in the series. Never happened before.
Never happened before. No overtime. What?
Not like this, not WOT. And we got to give kudos to a couple of things here. One, you got an Aussie-led head coach and Coach Sandy Brundell. She also is an Olympic coach with the Aussies. Who put them out? Coach Reeves and Team USA. Where? In the Olympics in Paris. So this was a payback on a bigger stage in the U.S., in your own back door, and I need to get that ring back. And that gave her a second ring. Then you got Leona Phoebus. She is from Germany, 6'4", coming off of curls, doing everything she's got to do. And Leona was right there with Breanna Stewart. When Breanna was having a tough time, you got Leona Phoebus, the 6'4" German girl, was in there playing her butt off, knocking down threes, taking the ball to the goal, playing very strong. Then, of course, you just spoke about Jonquil Jones. Jonquil Jones came over here. Her story is incredible. She leaves her family, leaves her entire culture, everything, to come to the United States to live with a group of strangers who become her family, who then raises her and then gets her into college to playing college basketball. And then she gets not only a WNBA ring after trying for the last 7 years, but she becomes the MVP of the finals. That is work well deserved. And then, of course, you got none other than Breanna Stewart. And what makes Breanna Stewart so important, for those that are listening and don't know, she's not only a champion and a UConn champion and a 4-time NCAA from UConn, and then an Olympic champion, MVP final herself, and then she gets a ring, but she's also the driving force behind Athletes Unlimited, which we talked to Coach Vigilon a few weeks ago about that. And that is the women's professional 3-on-3 basketball, like what Ice Cube is doing, but with the women, that is going from city to city. I love it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is, like I said, this has been a very exciting series. And like I said, there has been, like I said, the who's who. Now, this is what I found out last night when people were winning. Clara Sai, is that how you pronounce her name? Clara Sai.
Jutase and Clara Tase.
So she's the owner. And how many women owners of WNBA teams are there? Off the top of your hand?
Not many, but here's what's so special about this one, Val, while you look that up. Here's what's so special about this. And you were living in New York like myself, but you were just in there the last few years. They took this team from Westchester, and they brought it to Brooklyn. And do you know how many fans were watching them when they're in Westchester?
Not many, 2,000, I think.
Exactly, 15 to 2,000. And then you come and you pack out the Barclays, 30,000, Val. And the average ticket last night was going from $2,500 to $3,500 per seat. And you got Dwayne Wade, you got Carmelo Anthony and his son in the crowd, Gabrielle Union there. You got Angel Reese loving this game. She was in the crowd, even though she didn't even get a ring. She was the Obamas sitting up in the crowd chilling, right? You had Jada Kids. I saw him holding up a sign last night. You got all these stars last night in the crowd supporting these women. And I'm telling you right now, you hear it from my voice, I've been preaching and preaching and preaching. If you are not watching college women basketball or the WNBA, please wake up, because you are missing out on a good game.
Oh my gosh, I want to make sure that I bring this up. This was such a good thing that happened. Just her realizing that she won for the MVP she did such a great job. And of course, seeing
could you hold on, I mean to cut you off. Could you imagine yourself sticking 6'7", 200 some pounds?
No. Absolutely not. But Angel Reese from there representing, she was there for it all. And of course,
Hey, she's representing
Clara.
Chicago. She's representing Chicago, man. Hey, this is what Angel Reese should have said. I'm gonna show y'all my shirt. Chicago versus all y'all.
Oh,
Versus all y'all. Hey,
you, my goodness, you ain't got no sense. And of course, that's the owner of the New York Liberty. They kept saying over and over again, the ESPN reporter that was there, she says, this is what happens. This is what it looks like when you support our women in this team and in this league. So they felt, and this was the thing, well supported. This was one of my favorite ones. Spike Lee, who is a huge Knicks fan, was there representing and happy to support women.
Hey, you know what he's saying, right? Hey, listen, check this out. No, I'm gonna need you to give me 30 tonight. And if you could do this and get and put up the, I already got a movie waiting on you already. I'm already in the production of it. I just need you to get this ring home, girl. Get this ring. The Knicks can't do it. I've been waiting on y'all. The Knicks can't get it done. I've been waiting on y'all. Hey, that's Spike. Hey, you already go Spike. Hey, but listen, we're going to come right back with some more of this fun and entertainment as we break down the NBA, break down college basketball. You're talking to the one and only Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show with my sidekick. What's your name, girl?
Oh, that would be Val the Voice.
Okay, that's what I thought. Hey, we're going to take a halftime break. We'll be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Tony, what would you like to ask Terrence?
Listening to that trailer, man, it was so cool. When you got a chance to get involved, what were your past experiences?
I haven't necessarily done narration and voiceover, but I am a songwriter and performer. Of course, I've done that for a while. And with this project, one, I'm not seasoned enough to know what high 8 tapes are. So I'm just pulling off my experiences with elder people in my life and their stories and try to connect that bridge. So I just tried to do that the best that I could. And I'm happy with how it came about. I'm excited for people to start seeing it and seeing how over these many years it's come full circle, as John said.
Terrence hits on a great point. The spirit of the film is based on the spirit of the music and the times of the 90s. That was important that came across because that was a different frequency of music, back then. Well, it was an exciting, challenging time where you felt the birth of a new musical movement was happening.
Ultimately, we actually shot in 13 different locations and had a cast of over 60 people. And then we had this tape, this project that was still in search of an ending. And for 30 years, I've lied and carried this on my resume as a film that I completed. But nobody ever asked me for it. But I'm just grateful for the fact that, I'm grateful for the fact that Wendell found these and just wrote such a brilliant narration that really pulled everything together and brought it to some peace after all these years of this unfinished project.
Man, we're just coming up out of halftime with the Pull Up Podcast Show. You got episode 207, season 2, with Coach Tony and my girl, Val the Voice, talking about this ball game from last night. But Val, let's switch real quick and let's talk about what the people want to hear. That is what's going on in the NBA, because the storyline we already know is Lil Bronny and LeBron. And the season kickoff next week on October 23rd. So the question is, and I've told people already the last few shows, get it out the way. Get it out. Put LeBron and his son on the court day one. Get it out the way, right? Get it out. Let me know what you got. Kevin, what are you thinking? I know right now you still in La La Land from that win last night and parade coming up. But I need to know. Do you get it out the way? And for those that are listening, do you put LeBron James and his son, little Bronny, on the court the first game of the NBA season next week? Or do you wait and let little Bronny work his way in? Now, for some of those that don't know, I watched the game Friday night, LeBron had a decent game, played against Golden State. He had 18 points, played pretty good, but they lost by 40. They lost. So
Wow.
I can't really put that in perspective. You know what I mean? And LeBron didn't play. Just Steph Curry didn't play. Several of the stars didn't play. So I don't know how to put that in perspective. But again, if you're looking for promotional purposes only, I'm going to give you your 6 teams that could possibly be world champs this year, and Val's going to like what I got to say on one of them. So here are your 6 teams. So you can write these down or go play FanDuel or MGM. The first team is none other than Jason Tatum and my boy Jaylen Brown with the Boston Celtics, coming off of a hot year and looking to repeat. That's what you see in the photo up front right there. The Boston Celtics, it's like the old saying, Val, you can't take it from a champ. You only can go through them, right? So the championship, again, has got to go through Boston, I think. But the contender, who I think in the East, as I look through everything, I did my homework, I think the New York Knicks, Val.
What?
I know, but Chicago's own Jalen Brunson is a killer. And I think that the New York Knicks over Philly will give the Boston Celtics another run. And I have the Celtics and the Knicks possibly playing in the East Coast Finals to go to the NBA Championship from the East. On the West side, right? The West side. On the West side, I got my leading favorites, who I love this year because they were only missing one thing, and that was a post player. And the the Knicks gave them the post player that they needed, and now Oklahoma Thunder is loaded. I think they're the number 1 seed to come out the West, followed by Denver, Minnesota, and Dallas. I think Dallas will hang on a little bit because Luka do a little thing, but I think the Joker down in Denver, and of course, Baby Jordan up at Minnesota, but they lost Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns is now gone to the Knicks. So that's why I have to put the Knicks in a good spot on the East side because he left at the West Conference. And I think Oklahoma, if they can continue to play, they're going to be led by SGA. I think that they'll get an opening and the best bid to come out the West. And I think I'm looking at a Boston and Oklahoma Thunder finals in next year's NBA championship.
So you're predicting Boston versus OK.
Okay. Oh, okay. Like Lil Jon said.
Because I'm sitting here like,
you supposed to have them sound effects ready when I say okay.
I'll get it like Little John. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Give me that.
Goodness.
So what do you? So I know. Have you looked at the NBA, and what are your thoughts on that, Val?
Well, this is me being. I'm gonna channel my mother here a little bit. What about the babies here in Chicago? Do they have any chance? The babies here in Chicago, the Bulls, children, not the 90s right now. What they doing?
Yeah, I beloved Bulls are gonna be those. I hated that they gave up my homeboy, DeMar DeRozan. I hate it. But I love my homeboy Zach LaVine. But if Zach can just stay healthy and play the way he should, and then Kobe's a killer. And then you got Lonzo. If Lonzo Ball, hear me what I'm saying. Put your ear to the thing. If Lonzo Ball can stay healthy and can do what he's got to do, then the Bulls will be in the playoff hunt and in a good position. I think the Bulls are probably mid-pack. When I say mid-pack, I say 4 to 7 in mid-pack. Okay. Now, a team that I didn't talk about out west, who I think Val could be a surprise, and speaking of healthy, is Zion Wilson. If Zion can play, and he can do what he's got to do for the New Orleans Pelicans, then you may see New Orleans give somebody a very tough run on the west side. Okay. But as far as the Bulls is concerned, I think on the east side, you got the Knicks. The Pacers are coming out the east with Chicago looming mid-pack.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, this is me just half hoping and half cheering. Well, not half hoping, but really cheering. I've been hearing good things about Alonzo Ball. I've been hearing some good things
Yeah.
about him. But like I said, it's the glory days of the Bulls from the 90s. I mean, I think we came a little close when Rose was playing, but now but now I'm just looking to the team players. Here's this. Get me to the playoffs. If you can't, go beyond that,
Right.
I just want to get to the playoffs so I can at least be. I'm always proud to wear my Bulls situation. I'm in Bulls colors right now, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Come on, Alonzo. Can you do it
Val,
for us? Come on, Alonzo.
And Val, I feel you because the city has heard so much. The Sox suck, and I'm a South Sider, and I love them. Right? You can't pick up the worst record in baseball history, man. What the hell are y'all doing? You can't do that. You can lose, but you can't pick up the worst record in baseball history. And then the Cubs, I love them. They fell short. They had a great run at the end, just didn't have enough firepower. Our beloved Blackhawks, hopefully they can pick it up and do what they got to do. The Bears are falling out of control, and the rookie is surprising some folks right now. And I do have the Bears finishing up tough. They got a tough road against Detroit Lions and the Vikings coming up. But as far as these Bulls are concerned, that guy right there, Alonzo Ball, has got to come back out after missing roughly 50 games last year. And then some, and then some, and then some. He's got to come out. He's got to play. Him and Zach LaVine. If Zach LaVine is the man, him and Zach LaVine's got to get on the same page early on. And Kobe White, Kobe is going to be a three-point threat. So they got a good duo. And then they got my boy in the middle that came from the Miami Heat. So the Bulls still got a great team. They still got a good nucleus that they can play with. The question is, can the starters stay healthy, and can the bench give us a production? That's what it comes down to, Val, in all these games. Boston has a great starting five, but they got three or four guys that can come off the bench in case somebody get hurt and step right in like you never missed a click. And Oklahoma has that. And the Bulls, I don't know if we got that in Chicago this year.
Well, like I said, I'm channeling my mama, and I'm rooting for us. I'm sorry. You have the facts, you have the stats. I have the love and the prayer. Prayer will get us to playoffs. So let's pray.
Right. Who put that up there and said Boston is okay? No, Boston. Oh, that's you said Boston versus okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, wait a minute. But the great part about that, Val, is that a lot of people say, oh, I don't like watching the NBA. I'll wait till the All-Star game. The funny part about it is those people, they really just don't understand how the next level. And I always say this, Val, how can you want your son or your daughter to play at the highest level, the WNBA or the NBA, and you don't like them? That's like me telling you to give me this $1 million loan and I don't like your money. Like, well, why you want this loan? And that duo right there, LeBron James Jr. And I said it before when you guys were talking to me. I didn't think he deserved to be in the league at the time. But I said if he has a good preseason and he can sit down and get the opportunity, he'll fit in because he's a guard. He's not going to get banged around. He's not going to get taken underneath the basket. He's going to play out front and on the break. And that's a completely different position. And if he can get through, I would say, Val, if he can get to All-Star break, that's 42 games, which is about 5 to 6 more games than he would play in college. And if he can get to the All-Star break with no injuries, then this kid's possibly got a good future.
That's what I'm talking about. And of course, you have Papa there to guide you. So I'm saying you gonna break out with the Madonna, really?
Yeah, Papa
we doing Madonna right now?
I'm in love with him. Right. So, hey, I'm just telling you. But we're going to come back on the other side in the fourth quarter here. We're going to talk a little college basketball and Major League Baseball. And Springer, stay right there because them daggone Yankees are in the World Series. Take our last break of the day on the Pull Up Podcast Show with Coach Tony. and my sidekick. What's your name again? I forgot one more time.
It's called Val the Voice Johnson.
Val the Voice Johnson. We'll be right back.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor. How beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
Right. And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol?
No, I'm just saying. She showed up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself called My Man's in There. But,
I love it.
And look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in there. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like, I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, I'm authoring right now. You guys are funny.
Woohoo! Yeah.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Pull Up Podcast Show. We're going to the fourth quarter, kind of like the Liberty and the Lynx did last night. It's tight up in here. You know what I'm saying? It's tight. Val, I love that commercial. I love CJ Charles. And for those of you who don't know, she's an author doing some big things, writing some kids' books. You got some babies hanging around and you want to get a nice doll. Make sure you reach out to myself and Val, show you how to get Madam CJ Charles's book and a baby doll as Christmas is coming up on her book.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like to call it a very nice promo. It's called My Mother is a Superhero. And of course, the doll is called Justine. If I had known you were going to do that,
don't.
I would have gone ahead and displayed it. But I think, I deleted.
Hey, Val, you got to be old school to know that one, right?
Yeah, you do. You very much so. Very much so. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I didn't know it was going to be this way. I thought it was going to be the Mets and the Yankees, but it would have been boring if it was those two because it would have been a Subway Series. But it's actually two opposing coasts. We have the Yankees and the Dodgers.
I love it. And the Yankees had to get on that bird. They didn't want to, but they had to get on that bird last night, right after the WNBA game, and fly west. As they say, go west, young man, go west. So they are going out. It is going to be a crazy game. Carlos Stanton and Aaron Judd going against Nashville's own Mookie Betts and Ohtani. This is going to be a World Series. I had them both in the World Series, so I'll put a little something on it on my FanDuel for promotional purposes only.
There you go.
So it doesn't matter who wins. It depends on what I got going on. But this is going to be a great, great series. And I think it's coming down. I think you're going to see a lot of home runs. I think that this is a World Series that you're going to see where some of the people, Val, who don't like baseball, and they say, oh, baseball is boring. I think you're going to see this World Series, and you're going to see a lot of home runs and a lot of action. And I think this is going to be a great baseball World Series. And I have, unfortunately, New York, you won't get 2 rings. I love you guys, but we can't let y'all party all the way up to freaking New Year's Eve. I got the Dodgers going to win this series 4-3.
4-3. Okay. All right. And it's going to go all 7 games for you. It's not going to be a break in the action. It's going to go a full 7 games.
I think it's going to go a full 7 game. I think the Yankees do have that much fight in them. I seriously think you've got the best two teams. You're going to see a defensive team. You'll see some scoring, but you're going to see a lot of defense. And I think the series is going to go. It's going to go a full, 7 games. And I'd have loved seeing the Subway Series, like you and I talked about the Chicago Cubs and White Sox. Never happened. But the Yankees and the Mets would have been a great Subway Series. But with politics going on in the city right now, been too much fighting. So this is great because each team got to fly. They're going to pick up some frequent flyer miles because they're going to fly 3,500 to 4,000 miles every time they play each other.
Wow. And so the first game gets kicked off, I think, Wednesday. And it's in Los Angeles. And of course, I don't know. Now, here's the thing. This is what I do. If I don't have a pony in the race, I usually cheer for the underdog. But I actually do have a pony in the race because I did live in New York. And it was like, because where I lived in Brooklyn, I was not allowed to be a Mets fan. Just like if you're on the South Side, you're not allowed to be a Cubs fan. So it's the same thing. So I'm going with the Yankees, and they didn't diss my Sox. They always diss the Red Sox, not the White Sox. Right. I'm like,
both Sox.
We're good. Right, exactly. So
well, man, we've got to put a little at home Italian beef or a pizza on this thing or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I got my kid, Nashville's own Mookie Betts. I got Otani. The boy coming across the seas had to get up out that gambling scam deal, right, to get his money right. And I got him. And I think so we got to put a little, as they saw, a little piece of pie on this game or something. You know what I'm saying? It's good.
Yeah, so I think I'm rooting for the Yankees to win, but to close it out in 6 games, 4-2.
Ooh, okay, you got 4-2. Yankees winning 6. Okay, I like those numbers because you are used to 6 because that's what we did in the 90s with the Bulls. For y'all that don't know, we always closed everything out in 6s. Okay? For some people, 6-6-6 was bad, but for the Bulls, 6-6-6 was good.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
that boy good.
That boy good. No, but I feel like they're going to win their home games, and it's going to be that one that's going to be away. New York will be away in Los Angeles, and it would be phenomenal if they won out there. But I feel like more eyeballs would be on it if they won in New York. But it is what it is.
I look at it like this. I love that theory, but I look at it like this. I need to get my mans in them because y'all know about my mans in them. For those that don't know, my mans in them is my mans in them. And for those that know my mans in them, y'all know my mans in them. Now, you understand that if you my mans in them, that sentence made perfectly good sense to you. If you was not my mans in them, you're like, what the heck is Coach Tony talking about, right? Magic Johnson. My man's in there, and he's bringing the fire back out. And I would love to see Magic get a ring outside of the Lakers, right? Love to see him get this ring. Love to see him get this Dodgers ring.
So how much percentage does Magic own of the Dodgers?
Magic's like he's up there. He's like 30-40% percentile range.
Oh, okay. All right. Because
Magic got like about a third.
Okay, because I don't hear about a lot of what do you call this? Minorities owning. I'm so sorry. But to know that Magic is owning over 30% of the Dodgers, I might want to change. Now, what about ownership of the Yankees?
Ownership of the Yankees, I think A-Rod has got a little money into that. And, again, that'd be great. 2 brothers, the difference is you got an ex-ball player who played for the Yankees as opposed to an NBA guy, Magic Johnson. But, Magic Johnson is the business guru. So, it just kind of, goes with the territory.
Yeah. So, but, like I said, I do not have a pony in the race. I'm just going to be bold about it. I don't have a pony in the race, but Magic Johnson, who is talented when it comes to business and just kind of being able to recognize talent, it's a great thing that that Magic is going to be kind of the person looking and attending all of these games. He's going to probably attend every last one of these games that's happening in Los Angeles for the World Series. But this is a big deal. And how many I think at last count, the Yankees had 20 titles.
Yeah, something like that, like 19, 20 titles, and Dodgers right behind. They have not met since, like, I want to say back in 2000. There's over 20 years since these two have met in the World Series.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So sit down. If you don't watch baseball, this would be a baseball series to watch. And speaking of watching, for those young guys on air, basketball, my territory, jumps off in 2 weeks. And college basketball, again, for promotional purposes only is what I'm doing. I need to help the peoples out, right?
Help them out.
I need to get the peoples what they need, right? So for promotional purposes only, college basketball on the men's side of the house is coming up. And we're looking at possibly 5 teams that I think will be in that top 5 down the road. That would be the Duke Blue Devils. I think Houston will be there again. They played very well last year. Kevin Sampson, head coach, had Houston rocking and rolling. I think they'll be there. They lost a couple of players to the NBA. They'll be solid. Kansas will all be there. Bill Self, head coach, has got those guys that will be there. Duke has the #1 ball player in the United States is playing at Duke. That's why I got them favorite right now over everybody. UConn could pull off a very incredible feat in Coach Hurley. If Coach Hurley then can get these boys back to the finals again, he'll be looking at the first college basketball program to do a three-peat. It hasn't been done before. And so he has the opportunity to do that. And then out of nowhere, your longest shot of all, if you want to like betting Mavericks or Thoroughbreds, Alabama. Alabama is going to come in. I know Brandon Miller is gone and Brian Sears is gone and those guys, but Alabama has reloaded and they were going to give the SEC some big challenge. My national championship this year, for promotional purposes only, I've got the Duke Blue Devils, Kansas City, and Kansas in the final with Duke Blue Devils winning it all for the men's NCAA finals. So
you got Duke versus who?
Duke versus Kansas, with Duke winning it all on the men. And on the women's side of the house, this is hands down, it's not even a thought process. I got the 2 people that need to be playing each other because they really don't like each other in South Carolina game clocks. And my girl, Dawn, wear Prada, Gucci, whatever the hell I got in the closet, Staley, right? Versus my old school guy, one of the last old school guys that's around, Gino Ariamo, and UConn. And what's so nice about that, Val? Nafisa Collier, UConn. Breanna Stewart, UConn, both made it to the WNBA finals. I think the UConn and Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers, remember that name. 3 names you're going to remember this year. Paige Beckers is going to be at UConn. You're going to remember Juju Watkins, that's out at USC, that's going to be doing something, and Kiki Rice at UCLA. Those 3 girls' names are the next candidates to go on the WNBA ballot. So if you're not watching closely, watch those. And this is going to be yet another exciting year. With NIL money, Val, blowing through the roof, I'm telling you right now, women's sports in general, especially women's basketball, is on fire.
Woo-hoo-hoo. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this has been a phenomenal show. I say if you guys are, for promotional purposes only, we will go ahead and clip this section and then play it when these predictions happen, because a lot of times Coach is right on the money, and probably he's right on the money because he's in the money when it comes to looking out for athletes. Tell us about the Rise.
Man, right now over about 800 to 1,000 athletes over my 25-year career, helped out both men and women. So it was just only right for me, Val, to launch this sports marketing agency, the Rise NIL, www.RiseNIL.com, where we help athletes and brands come together and both are successful. The athletes get an opportunity to push the brands have an opportunity to promote the athlete. So if you're looking to get into the game and looking at what's going on in the world of NIL, please reach out to me and give me a call so I can help you and your athlete out.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about, man. Oh man. And of course, there's this little thing called a little ebook. A DJ said,
tell us about that little ebook.
How music gave me purpose and a voice. And I'm telling you guys, we are in the process of doing merch. So some folks have purchased a mug as well as a journal. I am looking at the journal. I'm all excited. I'm like, look at the journal with the face on it. That's so cool. And of course, I'm wearing merch. This is the Pull Up Podcast Show, but just go to purelightHousemedia.net if you are interested in any of these products. They're popping up right now. And of course, the ebook, A DJ Saved My Life. When you get it now, you will receive a bubble sticker with the logo of the book. So I'm excited about that. Oh my goodness. But of course, tomorrow night. But tomorrow night, we're back tomorrow night chit-chatting about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but mainly also, I think Meech made his way out of jail, and there is a show on Stars called BMF. This is a big show. This is a fan. Coach Tony is a fan, so he will be leading that discussion. I'll be leading the discussion of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Call Rick Ross up right now. Hey, Ricky Rose. Hold on one second. I got to call. Hey, Rick Rose, I'm going to need you to get on the show tomorrow. They call me Big Beach. Larry Hoover putting in work. Man, let me tell you something. BMF, the series. I love you. Thank you, 50, for bringing this out. Don't get me wrong. I love all the piracy. But what I like about the BMF series is that he's just strictly brought what happened. And I can remember this because some of this stuff Val was going on. We came out of school. So it brings it to life for me. So we're going to talk about it and let it be talked about.
And like I said, you've seen, now what season are they on? 2 or 3?
Season 3 with this. Yes, it's just phenomenal. 50 has done a great job. And with Big Meech, for those that don't know, for BMF, he was the founder of BMF, and they was kind of the underworld of drug kingpins here in the United States. He got caught up on racketeering charges, went to prison, and he served his time. He's getting out actually early. And we're going to break it down, as they say, let it be broke.
Forever and ever be broke. So, of course, join us on tomorrow with Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesday. But next week, we'll be back with another great show with the Pull Up Podcast Show. We got some great guests coming up. And, of course, Coach is working on that, of course. And, you know, I like to be in the background, but ever so often, Coach likes to yank me forward. I'm still learning sports.
Yeah, we got to work out. You know, I told Val guys that I got to get her sports related, so I can't do it unless she's up on the show with me. You know, I can't talk to myself, so I got to get Val the boys on here. So we got it. You know, we got to give the people what they need.
Got to give them what they want. So as we wrap up the quarter, Coach, what you want to say?
Hey, thank you guys for watching tonight, episode 207, season 2 of the Pull Up Podcast Show. But mine and Val's favorite word is peace.
Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.